never know when it actually says that we're live. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday.
Freedom
Woo,
Friday!
woo. So exciting. So we are coming on here live with you guys to talk about stress, adaptogens, and raising your frequency. So if you guys are here with us, say hello. If you guys are watching the replay, thank you so much. Super excited. So we're going to talk about stress. Who here has stress in their life? Everybody does, right? Like stress affects us so much, and like what is it actually doing to our bodies, right? It's like stress affects us whether it's our work, our finances, our relationships, maybe it's the kids, it's the coworkers. There's so many things. Hi, Heather. There's so many things in our life that causes stress, and the effects that it has on our body is absolutely crazy. So just to explain that, like the stress response, people always talk about stress is bad, stress is bad. Stress and our bodies, the way that our bodies are made, and I know you guys know this, but it is made so meticulously that everything is on purpose, right? So our stress response is important. It's there for a reason. But the big key thing is that it's there for a short-term response. And in today's society, we've adopted this lifestyle where there's so many stressors in our life that we're staying in this state for a long period of time, and our bodies just aren't used to that, right? So with the stress response, right, like it's originally there. So if say a tiger is chasing you, that stress response kicks in, and then you have your body shifts into a different state so that you can actually run away, so that you can fight, so that you can, it's either fight, flight, or freeze. Those are your three options, and that's what happens. And when that happens is that our body is going to release cortisol. Okay, cortisol is the number one stress hormone that is released. And the crazy thing is that when this happens, it your body is going to store fat because it's unsure when you're going to get your next meal, because they're like, how long is this stressor going to last? And then another thing that it does is it turns off your immune system, because obviously, guys, if we're running away from a tiger, we do not need our immune system, right? We do not need digestion. We probably don't need to take a nap. We don't need to reproduce, right? There's certain bodily systems that will shut down so that it can refocus that energy into our big muscle groups, into increasing our heart rate, into increasing our breathing, so that it dilates our pupils so we can see more of what's actually going on. So this is that short-term response. But you can imagine that when it's in the long term, this is why a lot of people are having issues with their digestion, a lot of issues with reproduction, a lot of issues with their immunity and being able to keep their immune system strong. So we're going to explain today how adaptogens can actually help to bring this stress hormone, the cortisol, back down into balance, so that it'll allow us to balance out our bodies so it can truly thrive the way that our bodies were meant to live. And then also we're going to share a little bit more about the frequency and how some of these products that Jenna are going to share will actually help to raise your frequency so that we can engage that law of attraction, start attracting in more of the abundance into our life that we're all seeking.
So good. And you know, when we think about stress, a lot of the time we get into this pattern of, I'm not stressed, I'm good. And that's just because we've become really good as human beings to regulate stress within ourselves. And so a lot of the time we don't even feel the effects of it. And one of the number one things that stress does is it also causes toxicity within our body. And toxicity within our body actually decreases our effectiveness for our metabolism. It also decreases the amount of energy that we have. And so it has all these host of issues that go on. And just because we don't feel it, it may just mean that it's become the new normal. And so what the heck are adaptogens? And so adaptogens come from the Greek word adapto, meaning to adjust. Okay, so that's what an adaptogen is. It's plants. So they're all plant substances that produce special effects on the body that help us adapt and overcome stress. So we always talk to people about using adaptogens in the morning. And why do we do that? Because if you're starting your day by downregulating the stress hormone, allowing your body to start its own natural rhythm, get that digestion going like Laura was talking about, increase your own natural energy, and just feel really good and clear in your brain, everything else in your day is going to go a lot better, right? So all of these adaptogens are sourced from all over the world, and there are so many of them. And what we have with our ionics, and I would love to know, we call it happy mommy juice for a reason, you guys, because it literally, you can feel it working within your body. And the adaptogenic blend in ionics is a blend of all these different plant-based adaptogens, and they've been chosen specifically for their benefits on down-regulating stress, but also it increases the way that your body responds to stress. So when your body is in a high level frequency, which we'll talk more about later, and your body is optimizing all of its functions and it's working properly, you're actually going to be able to mitigate that stress a lot easier. You're going to be able to step into the fight or flight response and step back out of it a lot better, instead of staying stuck and paralyzed in that state. And the reason that's so important is so that we can combat free radical damage within our body, so that we can improve our own natural bodily function, and we can also support healthy aging. I mean, realistically, when we're going through a lot of stress and we're increasing our toxins and maybe we're feeling sluggish and bloated and overweight, we also see the effects on our face. That's one thing that I saw. I was looking at pictures of even myself 2 years ago, and I couldn't believe the change even in my eyes and my skin. Stress related. It affects us from the inside and out. And the other thing that it does is, when we use adaptogens, it regulates our entire body. And so it primes our body, it protects it against stress, it regulates what's going on within our body, and it gives us this foundation of homeostasis. And homeostasis just means that when our body is in its natural rhythm. So we're regenerating cells, we're working more efficiently. Remember, work smarter, not harder. Our body does the same thing. So you can find these adaptogens in something called ionics. It's probably one of the favorite products that we have with Isogenics. But you can also find it in 2 other ways. And one of my favorite products is the BIA. And so you probably see us talking and showing BIA often. And that's what BIA stands for, Botanical Energy and Adaptogens. So not only are you going to raise your natural energy with green tea, but you're also going to lower your stress response. So can you imagine when you lower your stress response and you increase your energy, what happens? You feel amazing. This is what we call like that 2.0 feeling, yes. Right? And so you can find those adaptogens in this energy botanical beverage also. And we also have something called e-shots, which are one of my other favorites. And so in the e-shots, you're going to get a lower dose of caffeine from yerba mate and from green tea extract, and you're going to get a different blend of adaptogens. So what you're doing is circulating different plant botanicals through your body at different times of day to give you more of your brain power, your willpower, your energy, and down regulate that stress. And it's so important. We're all different. Some of us feel it more in the morning, some of us feel it in the afternoon, some in the evening. And just having a really easy go-to tool has been so beneficial, because there's many other ways to relieve stress. We can work out, we can meditate, we can do yoga. We have all of these different areas that we can relieve our stress, but we also need something that's efficient, that's easy, that's on the go, and that's gonna work. So I think it's really important for people to know how to get those adaptogens into their body.
And when it comes to raising your frequency, we all want to raise our vibes, right? You can see, like Jen was saying, like reduce stress, increase energy. What happens when we start doing that, right? And as you can imagine, like when you think about, if you have a super positive person and there's a super negative person around them, chances are that negative person probably won't want to be around that positive person, and vice versa. That positive person's gonna be like, get me the heck out of here, like I'm leaving, right? It's the exact same thing within our bodies. When we start putting high frequency food within our bodies, all of us are here because we want to learn, we want to grow, we want to start releasing these emotions and these things that have been trapped inside of our body for so long. So you can imagine when you start putting high frequency foods into your body, what starts happening? All of the negative stuff, all of the heavy stuff starts leaving. And this is where the detox comes in. This is where you can start raising your energy and your frequency. And it's absolutely incredible when you can start doing that just by changing your lifestyle habits and changing the food that you're putting into your body.
It's so true, Laura. It's think about it. If you have a toxic body, you're gonna have a toxic mind. If you have a toxic body and a toxic mind, chances are that the decisions you are making are more of a reaction state, right? Because it's coming from a place of lack. And so when we come from a place of lack, we tend to start reacting to life a lot differently, maybe making some impulsive decisions, maybe going for that really quick gratification. You know, I used to be the person that when I was feeling really low, I'd want to go shopping. And it was that instant validation. And so The other thing that happens when we're operating at a low frequency is a lot of the time we're not feeling so good about ourselves. So that inner dialogue, that inner talk starts to be a lot more negative. And what we focus on expands. And so when we have that negative self-talk, when we're feeling at a lack, we're not feeling confident, we're not feeling abundant, what happens is we start putting that energy out into the world and it starts coming back. And when we can look at life with total radical responsibility, that every situation, every person, every obstacle, everything starts with us, we realize that the state of which our energy frequency is operating at is everything that's showing up in our life. And so like Laura was saying, when we start to raise that frequency, everything starts to change. But you know what is the most difficult thing? When we do this work, we have to borrow belief, because we don't actually know if it works. So we have to borrow belief from the books, from the podcasts, from the YouTube videos, from everything that we're learning. We have to borrow belief that by raising our own frequency, we're going to see it outside of ourselves. So I ask you to just try, because it will start showing up in ways that you least expected. And so when you start doing the work here without an attached outcome and you start feeling really good, you're going to see so much new abundance showing up in your life, and it's so powerful. We experience that every single day.
Yeah. Literally, life just can keep getting better and better for you. It truly can. And if you guys have any questions about adaptogens, stress, about raising your frequency, feel free to put them in the comments and we will get back to you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed your Freedom Friday.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Okay. So I just need to get a little geeky science on you guys. So the really cool thing, you know, like I said, there are so many different ways to find adaptogens and different stress relating tools, but Jim Coover, okay, who is one of the co-founders of Isogenics, an incredible man, he knew about adaptogens so long ago. And the original, Tico's going crazy. The original formulation was derived for Soviet Union soldiers and astronauts so that they would have access to plants and herbal medicines that actually downregulate their stress so that they can be more productive in the field or in the space shuttles. And so what this blend of ionics was derived for was to give these superhumans even more fuel for what they were doing. And so what Jim Coover did is he actually went over to Russia and met with the scientists and met with the doctors to get the formulation that they created. And not only did they stop there, but then they went out and sourced all of these adaptogens all over the world to find the purest form of them. So when we talk about the ionics, one thing that I would really love to share is that bottle itself, how it was sourced, the purity and integrity of the ingredients, where the whole recipe came from, that is such a supercharged food product. Not just supercharged for your body, but supercharged energetically. And that makes a huge difference. Everything has a frequency. Everything has a charge. Every emotion, every object, every food source. When I was in India, they told us we were not allowed to have garlic and onions. How cool is that? We weren't allowed to eat those. Why? Because they were grown in the ground. They were a dark shade is what they were called. And it actually affected our energy while we were in this elevated state for the month. So if you want to learn more about that, we can post some more information in here. I have a feeling we're going to do a round 2 of this and kind of expand on it because it's so freaking interesting. We're both a little lit up right now, but I just wanted to add that. So
yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to pop them in the comments there and we will get back to you guys. But have the most amazing weekend, and you guys are all incredible. So grateful for all of you.
I'm grateful for you.
Oh, I'm grateful for you. Bye, guys.